Welcome, everyone, to episode 10 of the Chris Perish podcast, where we are streaming live on Twitch at The Chris Perish, YouTube Chris Perish, and Facebook The Chris Perish. But also, Joshua Joseph, we are streaming on your Facebook and your Twitter or X as well. So please make sure you're giving all those platforms a like, a follow, a subscribe, if you will. And then by chance, if you missed any second of any past episode, you can go and check all that out on those platforms, but also live on Spotify, as every episode you see live will be instantly uploaded to Spotify within the hour. And then also, please make sure you're checking out rogueenergy.com. And at the end, when you're about to check out, make sure you use that promo code PERISH, PERISH, to save yourself 10% on all orders. And make sure you don't stack codes because you won't be able to. So please, if you can, use promo code PERISH, PERISH. Might not be the best one, but it helps me out, and I would appreciate that. That's once again, I am here with the voice, the window licker himself, the host of the Raw Recap, Joshua Joseph. Josh, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic on this Super Bowl Sunday with my friend Chris Perish here on the Chris Perish podcast. Ready to get into it, ready to have some fun, and hopefully some of you will come and join us tomorrow at 7 p.m. for the Raw Recap and Review with co-host Bubba Duke. And this week's guest is the one, the only, the Bulkster. He's going to join us, and we are going to talk a lot about Raw.
Yeah, a lot to talk about, as we have multiple qualifying matches for the Elimination Chamber. We have just so much. Yeah, the Bulks are coming in saying, whoa.
There he is.
There he is. Running wild, brother.
He is.
But yeah, no, I mean, we've seen a week in in pro wrestling. I think one that I did not expect to see, as it's not even in the description, caught everybody off guard. But let's talk a little total nonstop action.
Okay.
Letting go of Scott D'Amore.
I seen that
In a very, very curious, very surprising move. We don't really know why. We don't really know what happened. But Josh, what was your just general reaction to TNA firing Scott D'Amore?
Well, honestly, my initial reaction was, what the hell? Because I mean, he's been a staple for them. He's been their Vince. He's, without the horrible shit, but you know, he's been that guy to be back there, to be the voice for the wrestlers, be the guy who who's there, that they could ask, hey, where do we go with this? How do we make this more impactful? And he had an answer to it. So then I got to thinking, and like you were kind of alluding to, what happened? There has to be something that happened, because, and whatever that may be, he may have gotten a better offer somewhere else, or there could have been something that happened backstage, or he's just done, or they are just done. Whatever it is, I hope both parties succeed. Honestly, I want to see Scott somewhere. I mean, Scott D'Amore is a mind that works for wrestling, and especially for total nonstop action. I mean, wow. It's a very shocking bit of news.
Yeah, and you're not the only one shocked. First time viewer Jeremy Lace coming in saying that totally shocked me, and I think it shocked the entire world, to be quite honest, because with the revival of TNA just over a month ago, and with the home run that was Hard to Kill, you thought there was just a completely different momentum going with total nonstop action. You brought in the wanted man himself, Nick Nemeth. Moose becomes your champion. Jordan Grace not only defeats Trinity to become the new Knockouts champion, but then fights Naomi, as she was a surprise entrant in this year's Royal Rumble match. lot of things were hitting hard for TNA, and then all of a sudden, it just seemed like the heart of TNA was legitimately ripped out of
Yeah.
its body, um, as nobody seems to know what to make of this, and it's really unfortunate, as we all know that there's a lot of like they're not the only ones, as we saw Stardom having some issues, as they made some changes, and you couldn't help but wonder, hey, as a wrestling fan, is this connected in any way? When we don't
Yeah.
have the information, we don't know if there's anything out there. And Boxer coming and saying WWE has been all over wrestling news, good or bad, and Anthem was like, hold my beer. And I was like, I I can't disagree with that, Bulkster.
No.
But at the same time, I'm wondering, okay, what is next for Scott D'Amore? Because the wrestling world moves fast; it doesn't stop for anyone. So, what is
Very
next for
true.
Scott D'Amore? Are we going to see maybe some sort of reconciliation with TNA? Are we going to see Scott D'Amore go somewhere else? I think that's the big question now. Um, as we were seeing some form of allegiance or working alliance between TNA and WWE, my first question is I wonder if maybe that would make sense. However, Scott D'Amore was on the Jericho cruise this past year, so maybe AEW could be a destination for him as well. You
Wow.
can make the case for both, but no matter what, if you're able to land a Scott D'Amore in your roster, um, yeah, I think you're doing all right.
Especially if AEW can land them.
Mhm.
I'm not going to say you fully fix all the backstage drama, but you do have a general back there who I would say a lot of these guys need to respect, because the guys they idolize and the guys that they watched coming up, Scott D'Amore had a little bit of influence in a handful of those guys. And you just you just hope the best comes out of this, because
Mhm.
Scott D'Amore's mind is something that we need in wrestling. Wherever it may be, he's just a needed mind in wrestling. So I hope all what he wants comes out of this. And TNA, I mean, you guys, I can't wait to see where you guys go from this decision.
Well, and that's just the other part of it too. It's what type of hit does this give TNA? Like, does this affect the product? Does this change the momentum that we know TNA has had as of late? Um, we know this is not a popular decision within the roster of TNA.
Hmm.
We know there's a lot of people just salvinizing over the possibility of hoping that maybe Scott D'Amore can go into their company. You've been talking about in the last recent weeks that AEW needs that one guy to kind of just help kind of bring everything back.
Yeah.
You see a guy like Scott D'Amore out there, could be that guy. And you're right, this is like a home run hit. This is the Hail Mary of Hail Marys if they're able to land him. Um, so it would be quite amazing if they were able to land somebody like that. And you'd have to think a guy like Tony Khan then now isn't asked or forced to make all these creative decisions when you actually have somebody there like a Scott D'Amore, if that would be the case, to where, okay, now we got a little bit more of a settled uh, atmosphere here. We have a little bit maybe more direction. So who knows? Jeremy coming in with more of a question saying, with WWE reportedly trying to get rid of anyone close to Vince, maybe WWE would be a great fit for Scott. Um, I think the one thing, if WWE was to get him, I would love to see Scott D'Amore kind of team up with William Regal and really head the scouting department for WWE. I think if you have those two minds just kind of as your 1-2 punch for scouting, and they're like, oh yeah, we talk directly to Sean and Hunter to run the creative aspect of WWE, and then we listen to Nick Khan and Dwayne Johnson who run the business side. I mean, what?
Yeah. I
Like,
just I like the idea, but again, there's something in my head that says Scott's mind's way better than that right now. I could see him taking on a role like that, scouting in the future. But right now, I want right now, to me, if he goes to WWE, it's a chance he gets lost in the shuffle. He becomes, in a few years, he becomes, I mean, he's Scott D'Amore. He wants to be a part of the product itself that everybody's seen. Yes, getting those guys, scouting those guys, and bringing them in and filling out the story does do that. But who the hell was the last time that you heard a wrestler that was making an impact and they were like, oh, yeah, they were scouted by such and such? You never hear that.
that I don't know. There was a lot of people through the highlight of NXT during that Black and Gold where they said William Regal had a very hands-on approach of bringing them in. I think that's one of the big reasons why WWE didn't want to let William Regal go, but also were very proactive of bringing him back because of that relationship. And we all know the history behind Triple H and William Regal. That's not a story that has been untold.
Yeah.
But another reason I think WWE does make sense for Scott D'Amore, especially if it's day-to-day like stuff, is you look at how much former TNA associates are just working back there, where you have Bobby Roode, you have Abyss, Jeremy Borash, who basically was Scott D'Amore's number 2 or number 1, or like however you looked at it. There's a lot of sexy parts in that. However, as you said, with AEW, you have an ability to kind of create something or restart something. And well, that's kind of up Scott D'Amore's alley with what he's been
Exactly.
what he was doing with Impact going back to TNA.
I mean, just imagine him coming down that ramp for a Tony Khan announcement, and it's him, and he's announced as the GM, and then hopefully he could talk to Tony and stop these nonsense Tony spots, and then we could get to actual storyline completion, or like start to finish. We could actually get a substantive champion, or a babyface run, you know? Like, I mean, they had that with MJF, but then they gave MJF the title and they were like, well, this is you now. And it was like, well, yeah, I could see that in the future, but we didn't need MJF as the champ right then.
Yeah.
We could have continued this whole saga with him, and it could have been more of the devil stuff. It could have been more of that, as opposed to what we got. And I'm not saying I dislike everything with what we got, but a Scott D'Amore in the ears of the people running it and showing them, hey, this is how you remember, Tony, when you were sitting there as a kid loving the product you were watching? I was behind that. So sit back, watch the show, write the checks.
Yeah. Sounds like you're talking some Tony Khan announcements, some Scott D'Amore involvement. That sounds like some big business over there. And
Big business.
big business is what we got from Tony Khan's special announcement this week in AEW, as AEW is heading back to the Boston, Massachusetts area, the TD Garden, or Boston, as the poster will say, alluding to, yes, Mercedes Moné signing with All Elite Wrestling. It is almost as obvious as Jade Cargill going to WWE, if you ask me. I think it's been set for a while from the sounds of it. But who knows that? All we know is that right now the stars are aligning to Mercedes Moné being in Boston on March 13th at the TD Gardens for big business.
There.
Now, let's just play that card.
Okay.
She's in AEW. All right. That's our thought process. That's what we know. What do you think the impact of Mercedes Moné will be to the women's division? But let me add something on to that.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to see a complete change to the women's division where that's It's now a division that's more marquee to the brand, opposed to just being a side note in the product that we have kind of been accustomed to as of late. Yes, I'm aware there's been attempts to make it better, but it still doesn't feel like a major part of the show.
To me, first and foremost, let's just say this. All you guys out there who have big numbers and people listen to you and you are all saying, oh, Mercedes is going to be in the Royal Rumble, and it didn't happen. I fucking love it, because I've been saying since she left, AEW will be her destination. Now, great question that you brought up. Let me pose this. When you bring somebody who is a part of changing women's wrestling in a promotion like WWE, because Sasha Banks was, she was a part of the Four Horsewomen. She was a draw. Yes. Was there things that happened? Were there incidents that didn't seem to be flattering for her? Yes. But what has she done since then? She has taken herself. She has still made herself relevant. People have still been wondering, where is she going to sign? Where is she going to end up? And now that she's in AEW, I think that legitimizes your women's market. When you have a name, a light like what we've seen Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks have, because at one time she was a great feature that people wanted to see. I mean, she was highlighted in WWE. It just sucks that we live in a time where you can hear every little bit of what goes on at the second it happens.
It does, but at the same time, this is now an opportunity where you don't have to say Mercedes Moné is coming to
Yes.
AEW. You can allude to the build, the hype, and you can get. This is very different from the Adam Copeland one, where we kind of had an underlining feeling that he was going to show up, but
Mhm.
you didn't know until you saw it. It's one of those things now where, yes, we know this is going to happen. We know it's going to happen in Boston. Now, I will say I would be very, very shocked in a positive way if this was a gigantic swerve to someone else. That would be hilarious and awesome, in my opinion. However, this is one of those examples of Mercedes Moné showing up in an AEW ring, doing something of worth, not just showing up beside an executive, not just, doing the pose. I want to see her get involved. I want to see her do something with somebody of value. Maybe right away we hit the ball running with a Britt Baker versus Mercedes Moné. You want to
No, I
be a
like
pillar
that.
of a company? I'm a pillar of the finance department. All right, like we go with a name versus a name.
No, I love that.
And it's we haven't seen Britt Baker in a while. We haven't seen Mercedes Moné in a while. But now what an impact is now all of a sudden the talking point could be, they're both back. And then you add on the timeless Tony Storms, you add the Willow Nightingale. If Tony Khan wants to do more with Athena, you have that. You
Mhm.
have Sky Blue, you have Julia Hart, you have now an active women's division with Saraya, Ruby Soho, just all these girls now that you can just kick ass with.
Yeah.
And now all you need is that creative direction. That would be just a huge difference for AEW. If your play now was to have a bona fide women's division, this would be the time, and now would be the way. We might be in line to see something completely shattering in the landscape of AEW March 13th at Big Business. And I think that would be very well received.
Oh yeah, very well. And
Um,
honestly, to add to that, AEW's women division, the the women they have in there, Mercedes Moné matches up very well with like 90% of them. And just her in ring is very. I honestly want to see her and Julia Hart go at it. But I hope, this is my only hope, Tony, stay away from trying to do the House of Black shit to Mercedes Moné. We don't need it. It doesn't. Let Julia Hart's doing perfectly fine doing that stuff outside of the big name women wrestlers. You know, I don't want to see it. It would be a waste of time for that, for her, for the House of Black, things like that. It wouldn't make any bit of sense.
Well, and I think that's something to why I think a lot of people now have this resurgence to wanting to watch WWE with, is because of the storylines that they're now seeing. It's the constant consistency with the long-term storylines. We just saw it with Bailey and Damage Control, and now a great little addition to that story on Friday with Dakota Kai finally kind of showing up and seeing that it alludes that she's siding with Bailey, but nothing's been said. We don't really know for sure.
Yeah.
Is this just a play? Is this really real? And I think we want to see something similar with AEW with that roster, and we want to see real stories, real emotional investment, and real give a shit from a company's direction on investing, because what we have now is a potential of being one of the better, if not the best, women's division in pro wrestling. And you have to hit the ground running, and you have to hit the wall hard, or else what are you even doing to begin with? Like, why are you signing these people if you do not plan on hitting the home run? You don't sign the big bat to a big money deal if you don't want to see the long ball.
Right there where Jeremy Lace came in.
Yeah.
Monet joins the Mogul Embassy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big idea, because they don't have a female representative.
Are you just saying that because you really want to see Mercedes Moné with Swerve now?
Well, he brought it up, and it kind
I
of
know.
All of a sudden I started seeing 3D images of that fitting, and it's like, wait a minute. Now come on, her energy itself. Come on. That right there, I could see the fit, but right when she gets in there though, I really want them to just highlight her. I want her to go on the solo, kind of like showing what she can bring to AEW. So the fans who may not know her, they get to know her, and they get to see what she can actually do for your promotion, and what her in-ring work can be, especially if this ignites a fire where she's loving wrestling again and being in the ring.
Well, and that's just it. Obviously, it's well known her and Naomi walked out at WWE as their women tag team champions, very unhappy with not just creative, but with kind of their place in the company, what they were dealing with. They were sick of it. They left. Obviously, we saw what Naomi did. She went to TNA, kind of had a resurgence in her career as Trinity, and now came back completely fresh, completely new. And then Mercedes, she went to New Japan. She did some other things. She did some dreams of hers. And then now it just looks to be the time where we're seeing her back again on regular televised product. So yeah, it's going to be just refreshing, because she's been gone from, the you and I's, because we don't really watch the New Japans, or I know I don't. I can't guess I'm speaking for your part when I don't know, but we don't really talk about New Japan that much here. So the assumption is that, it's because it's not known. I know they had a big show last night. With Okada's last match. It's like this morning, last night, today. I don't know.
It happened. We know that.
All I know is you're 2 hours ahead of me, and Japan's like 500 days ahead of everyone else. So
that's true.
They already know who won the Super Bowl. They already know what colors are next year's look. Which, by the way, yes, this jersey is more than just me repping my Saints. It's 41. because there's news about WrestleMania 41 coming out too. Yeah, it's
Oh
perfect.
no.
And guess what? It's going to a city who has a team that wears black and gold. So it kind of fits in so many ways.
Indiana?
Oshkosh? No.
We got Purdue.
Boise, Idaho is
Ugh.
having yeah.
No, is having WrestleMania?
Oh yeah, man. We
Yuck.
bring the boys. All right. But no,
It's just
Las
so-
Vegas is Allegiant Stadium, the home of the Las Vegas Raiders, in pure front-running contention to be the hosts. It's the official announcement, kind of already been there, that they will be the hosts of WrestleMania 41. That came out pretty much early Saturday. We know that there was a huge thought that Minnesota could have been that destination, but now it looks like Las Vegas is that reason. I wonder if that was another reason why we saw that WrestleMania kickoff press conference in Las Vegas on Thursday, which is exactly where we got to go next because, wow, just a little over an hour, just a little under an hour and a half. No wrestling, but boy, did we get a lot of content there. We got a face-to-face with Becky and Rhea Ripley, very much foreshadowing their encounter at WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. We saw what everybody wanted to see, a little bit of clarity between Cody Rhodes, The Rock, and Roman Reigns. And yes, Seth Rollins was there because, yes, that's how it looked. We finally saw the family tree for the bloodline. And if anybody saw the beautiful photo that came out late last night where it was a family tree and then it said, and our truth. One of the funniest things I've seen in a while. But yeah, very interesting. Got a lot of clarity on just some things. We did see The Rock kind of side with Roman Reigns, slapped Cody Rhodes. He said, "You might not smell what I'm cooking, but you know what Five Fingers said to the face?" Snap.
They did do that.
Essentially turned heel. Essentially went full heel Rock. We very much came out of it maybe wanting a Rock and Roman versus Seth and Cody tag match. That's kind of in the back of the minds now. But what were your generalizations and just your thoughts? And how did you think this press conference came off?
Well, when I first heard about it, I thought, well, this is kind of annoying. But then it made sense because, like you said, 41 is going to be in Vegas, and you have to be a year ahead of your booking in Vegas, sometimes 2 to 3 years ahead. How goes it, Bubba Duke? So I thought it was a good, after I absorbed the information and seen what was happening, I thought it was a good idea. It's a very, very smart, and hopefully they start doing this. Like, I think this would be a good thing to do every year, just because in those areas you're bringing in so much more money for that area itself. I mean, people want to get there, people want to see these guys, they want to hear the announcement, and then when you see that the press conference is going to be there, you know, the following year they're getting a WrestleMania, and then that builds for a year, and people get to live in that for a year. You get to, you know, hold your WrestleMania belt up for your city to hold WrestleMania, because it's a magic. I've never been to one. 41 would be my dream to go to. I love Vegas. I love WWE. So I think if you put those things together, it would be a fantastic time. And I love the fact that they used it not just as a promoting WrestleMania. They promoted the stories that we're getting involved in as fans, and they brought life to it. They gave it a couple pumps, you know. The fact that we could potentially, we got put in our heads Rock Roman versus Cody Seth. Why can't we have that at Elimination Chamber? Why that would be a dope thing there. And then WrestleMania goes on to whatever. Who knows what's right now. We are so close to WrestleMania, but yet we are still a little stone's throw away. So there's so many things that could still happen from now to then. But my overall assessment of that press conference, great idea. I hope they continue that. And it was a fantastic production. Trips, you're doing amazing work. Keep going, man.
Yeah, just it had that kind of the weigh-in vibe from the UFC
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
That I thought was really cool. It was very interactive with the audience there, which also shout out to the choices on the panel, having Michael Cole lead it, obviously, but then you sprinkled in with Pat McAfee, who everyone just loves. But then you decided we're going to put CM Punk and Big E in there, and
Yeah.
what a great decision that was. Two guys that are not currently active as they're both injured, but the crowd still wants to see. But more
Yes.
importantly, they want to hear.
Yes.
And it was just nice to see CM Punk had more of a Cody needs to just slap him back, punch him in the face. Seth, stop going through a closet and just put on some wrist tape and start swinging. Well, then Big E is the fan of all of us, giving us like what he would want out of this whole thing. And I thought just it was such a beautiful compilation of thoughts and just
Very true.
ideas to the point where it kind of represented, different fan bases in a way, and then brought it all together. I thought it was a great touch. Then we were also introduced with the new concept that WWE has, as they officially announced a deal with X, where they're going to bring WWE Speed, which is a collection of 5-minute matches. And from the sounds of it, if you win, you have points. If you don't win, you don't get anything. So it's going to be something where it'll be interesting to see what this leads to.
Mm-hmm.
What I think now we're kind of now leading into with WWE that okay, we're maybe unsure about the right now, but we're intrigued with what we could find out tomorrow and then see where this goes the next day. And there's a little bit more patience going on. So I think that's something that is very interesting. I'm curious. I always like trying something new out because how do you know if something works if you don't give it a go?
This could be a cool idea.
And especially if it's going to help advertise and showcase some people we don't normally see.
Yeah, exactly.
But we know that are there. Like if this is something that's going to make an Akira Tozawa a little bit more of a star, or if we're going to see maybe some of those, I don't want to say floaters, but that could be a good way of like whether or not they're going to be NXT main roster. What do we do with them? Oh, we'll put them here. I was going to say somebody like Cedric Alexander, Ashante Adonis, but we saw on SmackDown that they're now combining and aligning themselves, becoming a tag team over on SmackDown, which we got the official announcement from Triple H himself. The main event of this year's WrestleMania will be Roman Reigns defending his WWE Undisputed Championship. Not the Undisputed Universal, just Undisputed Championship from his word against Cody Rhodes. So we got that clarity. Yes, it was Cody Rhodes versus Roman the whole time. So people relax.
I loved how he did it too.
Mm-hmm.
It was perfection. And before we continue on that, I just want to say that what you talked about earlier with Big E and CM Punk, here's an idea. You know how sometimes they do the commentary? You can find other commentary. We need a one night, just the WrestleMania night, pick one, and we could have where we could dive into CM Punk Big E commentary for a night. I think that would be fun. Have them in a press box, have them having fun, being themselves and talking wrestling.
Could that be your WWE Speed announce team? Could we see one of those people replace Booker T for the time being at NXT as he's out? Yeah, who's to say? Who knows? But yeah, definitely
But yes,
options.
going back to Triple H and his announcement on SmackDown, I thought it was done masterfully. It was he dropped some little nuggets, callbacks from back in the day. Those the Authority. I loved when he did that. I mean, I was a huge Authority fan, but I've been a huge fan of Triple H no matter what he did, even when he was Hunter Hearst Helmsley. You know, yes, I loved it. I always seen something in Triple H from the first time I seen him wrestle to see him where he's at now and to see him rise above a lot of the nonsense and keep his eyes set to the prize of what he wanted, what he knew he could do with his career. In that speech, it kind of all came full circle for me as a fan of his, and I thought it was fantastically done. There's so many people out there so upset, and if it would have went the opposite way, those same people who are happy would have been so upset. So I love the drama when it comes to things like this, when it sparks actual debates between fans as opposed to just fans' opinions on nonsense and what they know. Now you know what's happening at WrestleMania. You know what's not happening at WrestleMania. Now you can talk about what would have been better or what you would have preferred, as opposed to just giving your opinion and fallen flat on your face because it was completely wrong. And now you're upset at everybody. And now you've taken The Rock's tagline, Cody Crybabies, and now you act like crybabies is a whole new fucking word. I've been using it since 3, man. It's annoying, man. Sometimes it's so annoying as a fan who tries to give my opinion as a fan. I mean, that's all I am. I don't get paid for this. I don't get nothing. I love it. I love to talk to my friend Chris Perish over here. I love to just be involved in wrestling in some way. So this is fantastic. I loved every aspect of it. I want more though. I want so much more with this.
I want some more, please.
Yes, I want some more.
Well, here's a little more then. It's been kind of, I don't want to say leaked out because we don't know if it's official, but there has been a, well, first, we have a comment from Jeremy Lace. If The Rock comes out to help Roman at Mania, who would come out for Cody to help him? His brother Dustin? Dustin's still currently signed with AEW. That will not be, I do think eventually, as soon as Dustin's contract with AEW ends, I do foresee him going back to WWE, but that doesn't happen till after WrestleMania. Yeah. Triple H very well could be that person. Yeah, and that's just the thing. Knowing that Triple H will not go back into a ring and is retired, Bubba Duke is saying Seth comes out. That's very well possible.
Yeah.
I think we could see a lot of intriguing aspects. One that nobody talks about. Who's a great friend of Cody that we don't know is signed or not? And the best part is you can say one and I have a second out there. Everyone's going to lead to MJF.
Yeah, that's where I was going, but then you threw in the curveball, and now my mind got.
But what about the indie god himself, Matt Cardona?
I don't.
To me, this screams just guys that think that there are Hollywood bound, like the superstars versus the wrestlers. And I think this is one of the most amazing content we're seeing right now. We have the entertainers versus the wrestlers, which people would always say, I hate WWE because it's entertainment and not pro wrestling. And then you have people like, well, if it's not pro wrestling, then why is Gunther on our screens all the time? That guy's a pro wrestler. He's not a sports entertainer. But what if we're actually seeing, for the real first time in this kind of a way, we're seeing the bloodline representing the sport entertainer of the thing? And yes, I know we saw it in AEW a little bit with the Jericho Appreciation Society that we're sports entertainers.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens if we have the Hollywood aspect versus the no, we're here? And another name I could throw out that could be pro Cody, and it could be one of those little things. There's always John Cena, who's not like he ever hasn't gone to bat against Roman or The Rock before. But what I love, I love how many fitting pieces could be a part of this.
Let me pose another one. Oh,
Mhm.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just saying, like with Cody Rhodes and his affiliations with so many people, yes, his family lies between him and Dustin. That's it in wrestling right now. You can bring in Brandy, but why?
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the equalization of the bloodline, the male members, you're going to be looking to a different kind of family. Maybe you look at other famous families in wrestling. Maybe you look at the family that you consider in the locker room.
I like it. I mean, it's very well said, and I could see this happening. But let me pose another one. What if Gunther comes out and saves him, and not anything to do with it, him and Cody are in some type of alliance, but because Gunther says this minus this he comes out and he says, this is my title to win. I'm not letting it happen like this. I want the title defended. And he takes out The Rock, does all that stuff. Then we get the Cody Roman, whatever happens between there. My assumption is Roman's still going to be your champion after WrestleMania. They are, if you haven't noticed, they are trying to erase things of the past. And there is one big name on there that say what you want about him, but there's a lot of times in wrestling where they didn't think wrestling was going to make it, and him and a couple other guys made sure that wrestling survived. And they did some horrible shit. We're not discounting that, but they're trying to erase things, and they want Hulk Hogan's name off of everything. They just want it, which and that's the guy I'm talking about. So whether I can understand it, you're trying to get past what the appearance to the outside viewer is seeing. You don't want the WWE to be known as that horrible shit. Okay, get it. Go ahead.
My kind of retort is when's the next time we're going to see a championship reign even reach this level after Roman Reigns? And I think that's going to be a while.
Yeah.
So you're not even going to talk Hulk Hogan. And if you get the title off Roman Reigns now, say like WrestleMania time, Hulk Hogan's name isn't even going to be a topic of relevancy, pun intended, at all, because nobody's going to be there. You're not even going to mention that. You're just going to mention, oh my God, the historic reign of Roman is finished because of such and such. I think there's other ways around erasing, or maybe I don't know, and that's just not talking about it and just not having it part of your current line. Triple H himself referred to Hulk Hogan on SmackDown. So he's talking about the lineage of the stars. And he mentioned the Hulk Hogans. He's mentioned other names. We see Hulk Hogan in the WrestleMania or in the video game. So I don't know if they're trying that hard to completely erase him, opposed to maybe other people who are alleged in legality issues that we're not going to really discuss here. So that's kind of how I kind of perceive it to be, because if they're trying to erase him, then why is he showing up in other kind of tunnels within like the creative or just the content standpoint? And then if you just end Roman's reign, pun intended, you're not even going to want to talk about him. Are you muted right now? Well, it looks like we're having some sort of Chad, if you're in there, let me know if you can hear me right now. That would be amazing. Just a nice little yes or no in the comments would be great. Josh, are you able to say something? We'll be right back with a thing from Rogue Energy. Josh, are you with me right now? Looks like we're having some issues right now. Not too sure what we're seeing. We're just going to pause for the time being, and we'll get back to it. Oh, one sec. All right. Can everybody hear me right now? Josh? Okay, so you guys can hear me right now. Doesn't look like we can hear Joshua Joseph. All right, so we will get that kind of fixed for you guys right now. But yeah, no, can you guys weigh in on kind of just what we've been talking about right now? As I try to help Josh out. So yeah. Yeah, we were talking a little bit about going into that WrestleMania that kind of set with the bloodline, but yeah, I don't know your guys' thoughts. I do want to kind of pose the question with that we are going to get, or before the question, we are going to get Cody versus Roman. That does pose now, okay, what does happen with Seth and The Rock? We're talking about Rock maybe screwing Cody. is somebody going to be there? A little side note: CM Punk, when he lost to The Rock, The Rock actually restarted the match to take the title off Punk. So maybe Punk or somebody is going to do something very similar to Roman, if that's the case, because we are seeing a little bit of past storylines kind of, or past ideas from kind of come back into the play here. We're going to work a little bit with Josh's our audio. So yeah, so maybe we'll just get him to kind of restart. Here. So yeah, so let us know your kind of thoughts right now as we are dealing with these little scenarios. A little bit of a nice little silence here. But yeah, so Dawn is loading up as we see. But yeah, let us know what you kind of think about WrestleMania. What do we now see with Seth, as we know that it is we know that he's going to face the winner of the Elimination Chamber. Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes are in there. As we do have the voice, Joshua Joseph reconnecting his audio, so hopefully he'll be right back. We are chatting WrestleMania right now a little bit with kind of there. As Josh, are you able to be back with us right now? Is your audio good? As Don is saying, it's going to be Drew. So as of right now, we have that. I'm just gonna kind of throw that up until we get a little bit more clarity with Joshua on his audio. But yeah. So yeah, I mean, Jeremy wants to see Gunther and was it Orton? Did you say? Let me just get back to the comments. Yeah, Gunther and Orton. I have a feeling Orton is probably in line to do some with Solo Sikoa. But I mean, who knows? I have a feeling Gunther, and if not for maybe Jey Uso, so that looks like it's the current Intercontinental plan. We could see a little bit, maybe. So Josh, can you hear us now? Can't hear you yet. So nothing yet.
Check.
There we go. We're back, people.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell happened.
No, I mean, it doesn't matter what happened. What matters is how we got through it. And it's fine now. It's fixed. But yeah, so we tried to chat's happy. Josh is back.
Well, yes, I'm back.
Yeah, better than ever. Face facts. Because our opinions to us matter. But I wanted to kind of get to the Elimination Chamber, as we now know that Seth Rollins' WrestleMania opponent will be decided by the Chamber itself. We know that Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton have already qualified. We will see qualifying matches with Logan Paul versus The Miz. So one of those two will be in the match. We have Kevin Owens versus Dominic Mysterio, LA Knight versus Ivar, and Bronson Reed versus Bobby Lashley. 4 of those 8 men will be added to the Elimination Chamber match. We got a little bit of a potential tease leak about the women's Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
And the suggested names here are Naomi, Liv Morgan, Tiffany Stratton, Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, and Jade Cargill. And if that's the case, that's a big time match.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'd even say that Becky Lynch is a clear-cut favorite anymore on that one. How
Yeah.
can you say she's a clear cut over Bianca Belair, who I still would love to see Bianca be that person? I still believe that if you want to have Rhea and Bianca be that face of your women's division, you need that iconic WrestleMania match. You need that iconic WrestleMania moment. So I don't know. Like, what do you think? Do you think we're destined for Becky Lynch here in this match, or do you think it's going to be somebody else? And what do you think of the men's elimination chamber?
Um, I'm more riding passenger with you on your thought with Bianca and Rhea being the face of your division, and we need that moment because it would be so epic. Those two women can give us WrestleMania moments at the drop of a dime if you put them up against each other. And
Mhm.
I full-heartedly believe that and want to see it. But there are a lot of talks about this is going to be a year of Becky. I mean, she is the man. She's done damn near everything you could possibly do in the
Yeah.
WWE. And she's proven time and time again she is durable. She understands it. She gets it. And would I be upset? No, I wouldn't be upset, but it's not what I want, you know. I think
Mhm.
Bianca Belair is on levels that are come by once in a few generations. And Rhea's the same thing. So
Yeah.
to the fact that you have two of those uh, wonders of the world in one generation, like use that to your advantage and get the draw. And
Mhm.
then going into the men's, right now, I mean, we know who could be in it, but we don't know who's in it. So we still have qualifying matches. We still have that, but the lineup you're teasing us with, that the possibilities, is a good lineup. That's a great elimination chamber uh, for
Yeah.
both uh, for both of them, for men's and women's. Um, so this is one of those moments where, as a fan, I just want to see what's the end result, because I know it's going to be good. So I just want to know who wins, you know? So I think really honestly, there's going to be a big hype on the women's, and the women's match I think is going to be like the women's Rumble match. I think the women right now feel the momentum behind them, and they're all willing to do that extra bit in a match to get the
Mhm.
fans to pop, to get that extra bit of their name known and out there. Um, so I'm looking forward to it. Uh, I couldn't give you a clear cut winner on either one. I could give you who I would like to see go in and win, and do a big moment at in Australia. I mean, this is in Perth, right?
Yeah.
This is Perth. This is this is a huge moment for that area to have a PLE of the caliber of a elimination chamber, and
Mhm.
for a good majority of those talents being from Australia, and that's where they cut their teeth.
Yeah. And we have that with Bronson Reed. We have that with Rhea Ripley. So it is kind of intriguing that maybe these two people will be added to, or not these two, but we will see Bronson Reed added to the men's elimination chamber.
Mhm.
I think that's a possibility. I have a feeling Karrion Kross and the Final Testament are going to maybe cost Bobby Lashley his attempt. But in the same time, I wouldn't be surprised, given Friday Night SmackDown, seeing LA Knight kind of help AJ Styles not qualify. We might see a retort from AJ Styles as well. So it's very intriguing of what we could get, but doesn't mean it's indicative, if that's a word, that's what we'll see. We all know the historic rise of LA Knight right now. He looked very well in his match against Roman Reigns. He looked very well in that 4-way. He wasn't pinned. He didn't take the loss there. So who knows if he is destined to compete in Perth. I think why not? He's one of the people you pay to see right now. So
well, I mean, are we going on the same wavelength of we're gonna see LA Knight, AJ Styles at WrestleMania?
I don't know. I mean, I had him pegged going up against Logan Paul for the US title and
I
winning the
thought so too.
championship. But now, yeah, like I don't know. Maybe that's the match we're talking off screen about. Maybe a potential match to be added. Maybe that is LA Knight versus AJ Styles.
Huh?
Like I don't know.
mean,
Like
it seems like if like what you said, if AJ retaliates, it seems like that's logically what they're setting up for, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it makes sense. I don't know. What does everybody else think?
I would like
Give
to
us
see
your
it.
opinions. Yeah. So yeah, I mean I think that's the intriguing part though, is like, yeah, there might not be like we still have some moving pieces here. And I think that's a very intriguing aspect. Like, yes, we're very close. We're a week away or just over a week away to Elimination Chamber. Do you have by chance a date on there?
I can get it for you in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail.
See, I never got that reference, really.
Have you ever had lambs?
I mean, I have lamb, but like
February
I've never
24th.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so we have some time. We have 13 days. We're just under 2 weeks. So just under 2 weeks. So we got another couple episodes of Raw, another couple episodes of a SmackDown. So it would be very intriguing to see kind of the lead up, because I mean, obviously this is a match I don't think we need a lot of build up for.
No.
Like, I wouldn't say that we need to we can't have LA Knight versus AJ Styles because, well, they need more time. I think it's very much a potential that we see this match kind of maybe as early as this week. Maybe we see AJ Styles cost LA Knight this Monday on Raw, as that's the day LA Knight and Ivar will go at it, is this Monday night on Raw. So it'd be very intriguing to see kind of what the plan is for those two, because I don't know if they don't do anything at Chamber. Yes, you do have to wonder if the plan is for them at WrestleMania.
Well, that would give you your time to set that up even more and run that
Yeah,
story.
we'll just get to a couple of comments here as go in. So I'm just getting a little bit of things. We have LA Knight versus AJ. I'm down with that. Bubba Duke is saying. We also have Knight versus Styles would be a great matchup. Styles wins, pun intended. Or style wise, pun intended. And that's just it. Like, it'd be very intriguing to see kind of what the plan is there, as yeah.
We're in the depths of it. In the ocean. It's they're either going to make a move on it or they're not. It's gonna I mean, and like you said, Monday would be the perfect time to do it. AJ Styles gets his revenge. LA Knight, I kind of want to see it at Mania. I kind of want to see them kind of pull this along, give us some really good stories back and forth, some backstage stuff, and then a big blow up match at WrestleMania. And if you want to, add that US championship in the mix. Give it a 3-way. Put Logan Paul in there.
Well, speaking of three-ways, we might be adding a third person, as we do have a little bit of a surprise in the backstage here.
Oh,
Uh, we got a little bit of Bubba Duke, so I'm gonna see if I can get him
finagle him in
in.
there.
Yeah, and see if we can give you a little three-way on here. Yeah, that's right. We do. All right. This stupid
There we
layout
go.
is killing me right now. Let's do something like that.
There
And
we go.
cool for the time
There
being.
we
We
go.
got
Look at
that.
that.
That's all. But yeah, no, Bubba. Thanks for joining.
I wasn't expecting to go on. I was just sitting here just in case something went wrong again. I could jump in until Double J got his stuff figured out there. But
Well, we appreciate it. As
thank you
I'm
for
just
having me
gonna
on, my man.
kind of just tidy this up a little bit. There we go. Let it, everybody. How does that layout look?
Looks
It'll
fantastic.
it'll go for now. Bubba Duke definitely is the host of the Boar's Net on every Thursday. He is part of the Raw Patrol that you can see on Monday nights, every Monday at about, what is it, 8 p.m. Eastern time. He is
Yes.
the co-host of the Raw Recap with Joshua Joseph at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
And then sometimes he's part of Turnbuckle Talk on Tuesdays at 8:05. As you see that Turnbuckle Studios in the bottom left corner. Yes, the Chris Perish podcast is affiliated with Turnbuckle Studios. Please give them a follow, especially at their new YouTube channel at youtube.com/turnbuckle_studios. Want to help try to get that channel back up and running, as
Yes.
had a little bit of a
Little
situation a
technical
few weeks
difficulties.
back. But yeah, but just quickly before we kind of divulge away from this, what kind of is your thought process as we go into Elimination Chamber? Kind of with the two Elimination Chamber matches, who would you say is your favorites to win both the men and the women's match?
Well, I already said it there earlier.
Yeah.
I'm shooting for Drew McIntyre
Mhm.
to win the men's because I would love to see him take that title from Seth Rollins. I don't know if you all seen yesterday. He made a post, made a little video,
Yeah.
kind of basically calling out Seth Rollins and saying he's being a really shoddy champion, not doing his job as far as he's concerned, and he would do a better job. Which, I mean, I'm not going to say he can't, but it's Seth freaking Rollins, Mr. McIntyre. You better be stepping your game up, boy.
Yup.
Yeah.
And I'm saying
And
that
what?
out of the love for this man because I am a Scottish sympathizer. I am part Scottish myself, so I kind of have a little spot in my heart for the guy. But it's Seth freaking Rollins. Like he's the man. You got to step up big time to take that title from that guy. But for the women, dude, I can't even tell you. I can't even pick one because every woman in that chamber match deserves a shot at that title. They've
Yeah.
all earned it. They've all deserved. They've all, you know what I mean? Like it's, yeah. So I can't pick one. I really can't.
Yeah.
The
I mean,
yeah.
go ahead,
Sorry, go
Josh.
ahead. Oh, I was just going to say the women's is the most difficult to pick because of the amount of talent that is in that ring. And I'm not saying that the men's doesn't have the amount
No.
of talent, but story wise line, you can
Yes.
go in multiple angles with that title because of the way they've set up the women's division. And I, as a fan, appreciate that because you never know what's going to happen next. You know, we seen it with CM Punk getting injured,
right.
things like that. You have someone who can step up, and to have a roster of that specific sex and everything, you're doing good work over there.
100%.
I think too, like the comparison to the Rumble is very accurate because the Rumble, you could have gone so many different routes with the winner. Obviously, I think we all can say they got it right with Bailey. That was a storyline that I
Mhm.
think was driving the SmackDown show. really Rhea's the one driving Raw, and she's a champion. So you're not going to do anything there. She didn't have a clear cut. Maybe Nia Jax at the very most could have been that, but you decided to do that at Elimination Chamber, which I still think will be the main event to that, given the fact that it's in Perth, Australia. Rhea is from Australia herself. Um, um, Also, Josh, I just want to kind of let you know there is strong reports out there right now, almost official, that we are seeing Kazuchika Okada is officially going to be signing with AEW,
Ooh.
and that is something that is more of a breaking news, but a hot off the press type of information. So
Damn.
expect to see Okada sign with AEW, not WWE. So that'd be very intriguing. But yeah, going back to that comparison with the Rumble, I think it goes the same way with the Elimination Chamber, and it's not like you said, it's not because there's a lack of talent in the men's. There's just more of a direct understanding of what we're getting with the men's storylines, whereas there's nothing definitive with Liv Morgan because she just came back at the Rumble. There's nothing definitive with Jade Cargill. She just debuted at the Rumble. The only thing definitive that we know of is the acts, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
And we've been getting the teases for Rhea and Bianca, Rhea and Becky. And it looks like we could maybe get a Jade versus Bianca. Having those two potentially start the chamber match, I think would be very intriguing. At the very least, having them have a standoff in some way, shape, or form. But another name also not to count out for Rhea, I think Liv Morgan's there. Tiffany Stratton, I think, is a very intriguing name in there because she is someone that just, wherever she's going now, she just seems to be the one you talk about. But if I'm honestly adding someone who I think might not be the clear-cut favorite, but I think down the road could be a clear-cut favorite to maybe win Money in the Bank and just put her in this position to succeed right now, I'm putting Chelsea Green in this right away.
Not a bad choice.
And I think I'd actually maybe take off Naomi, and I'd put Chelsea Green in that spot, simply because I think there's something else you can do with Naomi instead.
I mean, you're not far off. I mean, you could do that. And like you said, Naomi, there's her going away and doing what she did and presenting herself and not just sulking in the moment of not being at the WWE anymore showed leaps and bounds of her maturity for being a professional wrestler. And the fact that she's now back at the place that gave her a name, where you can see her have fun and things like that. I agree with you. There's so many ways you could basically put her out there, and it doesn't have to be the chamber. It does. Yeah, I mean, yes, like you're saying, Chelsea Green's got some heat to her right now. She's getting the fans behind her. She's putting in the work, and she's understanding the spots that she's put into to a T, like to where she should be teaching classes on how to fall in line and understand your assignment. And things like that need to be rewarded in the world of wrestling because we don't have too many of those guys anymore and those women anymore who understand. So yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, and Bubba, I just want to also highlight on your point. Yeah, we saw that video from Drew McIntyre kind of calling out Seth Rollins and saying he'd be a better champion. We also saw CM Punk coming out right after the press conference, telling people to put some respect on Bayley's name and the fact that she's not on the poster of WrestleMania, even though she won the Royal Rumble and things like that. I think that's really cool of CM Punk just to do, because I do think, as we're talking about somebody who, you know, the hard work and dedication pays off. I mean, nobody exemplifies that more than Bayley right now. Just kind of that steady hand that always gets played, always gets used, but never somehow gets the thumbs up. And right now she's getting the thumbs up. She is $1 million right now with that split from Damage Control, driving the feud, truly driving that feud, and then playing that emotional card so well.
She really reminds me for the last couple years of Natalia's career kind of thing, where she keeps getting pushed to get used. And you know what I mean? Like she's always there for that pop, that emotional bit, that she's always right there. And now she's getting used. I'm loving it. Like go Bailey, get that title, and do what you do best and show us.
Yeah. And I'm very intrigued. To me, if I'm giving anybody that special entrance, that over the top entrance
Oh God, yeah.
this year, it has to be Bailey. I know
Hands
she wants
down.
to bet Paramore to like bring her out. I think this would be the time. If just for once you want to bring back Evolve Bailey buddies, this would be the time to do it.
No, you can't.
No, because I wouldn't. I'd be like, hug me, don't let me go.
There would be security.
Bubba, your our inflatable tube man.
Yeah,
you're
inflatable
our
of
inflatable
two
wacky
man.
wavy inflatable tube man, but you're not a Bailey buddy. I mean, let's
I blow a lot of hot air, but not in the right spot, right?
yeah, we don't want you getting a restraining order, all right?
No,
But it's already
we
on there,
need
bro.
you, Bubba.
Already there.
yeah, we need you here.
Already got that restraining order on. It's all good.
Right. But yeah, no, it's going to be intriguing. I'm very curious to see kind of where this Bailey thing goes. And I'm curious to see if there's anything going to be added onto it. Obviously, right now we don't know where the Dakota Kai stuff is leading into. We don't know kind of if it's going to be a 1-on-3, 1-on-4, 2-on-3. There's still questions to be asked. We still have about 50 some days till WrestleMania, so
Very true.
we still a lot of time to kind of figure it all out.
And you know what? I wouldn't be upset if I didn't get everything kind of laid out for me when it comes to the women's division. I'm kind of loving that mystery of who's really going to take on the women's champion. Who's got the fortitude to get to that point right now. And like I said, I can't pick one woman because they all deserve it right now because they're all taking their product and their profession to a whole new level right now.
Yep.
And it's mind-blowing and incredible to watch at this point. I'm more intrigued to watch women's wrestling right now than I am the men, to be honest.
To also add on that, I think this just shows how well Triple H is using the talent too, because he is making sure that every woman has something on their plate, giving them something of value when they're out there. Therefore, you're not forgetting that person. Now, there are going to be women that have maybe more, sure. Like we're going to see a Rhea Ripley in more segments. We're going to see Becky Lynch do a lot more media appearances and things like that. When Charlotte's back, we're going to see her in those spots. But we are seeing Shotzi's doing stuff here and there. We are seeing Dakota Kai doing a little bit. She's actually doing a lot more than I think people give her credit for, to be honest, as well. We're seeing Tiffany Stratton being introduced at a very intriguing pace. And then we're seeing Naomi kind of coming in at her own front. We're seeing Jade Cargill come in and then being protected in, so her appearances mean something. And I think that just now is added to her like a lore, her value, her aura. So I think that's going to be very cool just to kind of see how Jade Cargill evolves and becomes. And then we even have like Bianca Belair, that maybe she is in that transitional phase, but her charisma, her what the kids call her Riz factor.
What kids are calling it that?
Kids I don't understand.
Okay. That whole generation.
Come on, Riz is short for your charisma, man. That's kind of like how it stems.
The Riz I know is from Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
No, that's a different
The
Riz.
RZA.
But no, she brings the energy. She brings
Yeah.
all those attributes that you need to care. And I think that's something that whether she takes that to another feud, whether she takes that for a turn, whatever the case may be, you're going to be invested. And then with the addition of her show with Montez Ford, you're seeing that different side. So you're getting invested in Bianca, just like as much as you might not be a fan of the Bellas, there were a lot of people that got into wrestling because they watched Total Divas, because they watched Total Bellas. You still can't say that was not an impactful show to people, because it surely was. Maxine Dupree is one example of somebody getting into wrestling because they wanted to be like Nikki Brie Bella watching that. So maybe not our scoop of ice cream, but it's ice cream nonetheless. So
as long as it brings them to the final product, who cares?
And the best part is that show that she's on with her husband is on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I literally was scrolling through with my kid, and she recognized
you didn't have to
her
whisper
picture, but she recognized it on there, and she's like, "Daddy, is she a wrestler?" I'm like, "Yeah, she wrestles." Cool. When can we watch wrestling? Like my kid, and she's 6 and recognizes a wrestler. Like, what's that say that individual has had an impact in, the world kind of thing, when a 6-year-old recognizes you as a wrestler? Like, and she doesn't watch wrestling other than when she's here with me, and that's like 2-3 matches, and then we're done.
Well, that's exactly what wrestling is. It's when people. This is why I don't understand why people get so heated over sports entertainment, professional wrestling. I'm like, come on, it's both. I mean, at the end of the day, it is both, because what you're doing is you're putting on a show for people's enjoyment. That's entertaining, whatever you want. You just so happen to be so invested in the traditional aspect of what it is that you're our pro wrestling first fan, which is completely fine, completely fair. I am as well. I just happen to also understand the assignment, as you're saying, of live entertainment, which is what pro wrestling provides you. And just having that impact to the outside world, giving that inspiration, giving that hope, giving that faith to someone that they can do something, they can be better, they can be something that they want to be. I think it's very inspiring, very cool. And as obviously Bubba, Josh, myself, we're all fathers, so yes, we understand like how important that is to see people doing it,
it's a gateway
which is nice.
to success.
Yeah. And speaking of that gateway to success, today's Super Bowl Sunday.
We're in it.
Woo! Yeah. San Francisco 49ers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. It's there. It's here. It's now. It's kind of it's still in like 5 hours, 4 hours away.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's today. It's the last day of football. I don't know if I'm sad or excited, but all I know is I'm on like 3 hours of sleep. I know I'm not going to bed anytime soon.
That's why I got one of these, my friend. I love drinking these.
I'm ready. I got my Rogue Energy that you can go to at rogueenergy.com. Use that promo code Perish, PER.
This I can buy at the store. That I can't.
I'm not going to worry about anything else I consume on screen right now. Rogue Energy.
Nothing but Rogue Energy. No matter what you see, it's Rogue Energy.
Don't pick what I have. Go Rogue. But yes, we have the Super Bowl here, and it's intriguing. I read a stat yesterday that the turf that they're using for this game costs more than the salary of Brock Purdy.
Why does that not surprise me?
It's absolutely insane. I'm just seeing a stat. Brock Purdy is 8-2 in his career versus quarterbacks drafted in the first round. Pat Mahomes drafted in the first round. I know that because the Kansas City Chiefs traded to get the spot ahead of my New Orleans Saints to pick Pat Mahomes because my team wanted Pat Mahomes. And we took Marshawn
Nice.
Lattimore, which I can't argue. That's a great pick too. But ooh, he would be a lot better than Derek Carr. But that's I got to get over that. I just don't get over pass interference. But yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on the game? Who were your favorites? What's the keys to success here? Josh, we'll start with you because you and I we talk football every Sunday. Yeah, I mean this is going to be a this is going to be a battle.
This is going to be a battle. I'm going 49ers. Honestly, this is going to come down between Purdy and Mahomes. They're if Mahomes gets in Mahomes playoff mindset, oh boy, you all need to watch out and strap in because it's going to be a long night. But Purdy has shown it's hard to shake him. It's hard to make him think that he's not going to win the game for his team. And that defense for the 49ers, they definitely have every single tool to stop this Chiefs. But
I mean,
this playoffs Chiefs, they find teams that can stop them in moments, and then they rise above that. It's like once you get Kansas City this year to the point to where you know, or you think, oh, we got to win here, guys. Just keep playing our game. Then all of a sudden, Travis Kelce comes out, does something stupid, gets 30 yards, and then Mahomes goes, we got it, guys. And then boom, 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 boom. Little short passes, little long pass, and then boom, you're in the touchdown. And you're sitting there wondering, what the fuck just happened? Thought we were playing this game. And we've seen it time after time after time this year, especially in the playoffs. But I really think 49ers, they have a mindset right now that they need to win. They want to win. They need this for their town, their city. They need this for them as a younger franchise with the players, not as overall, but one of the youngest ones that are out there with great potential. But again, it's Kansas City. That's what sucks about that. I wanted Baltimore in this because then we could have had a knockout, drag out game. We knew it would go, touchdown here, touchdown there. But now this Super Bowl has a chance. I believe the Super Bowl has a chance to be one of the highest scoring Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I 100% agree. And Bubba, we'll get to you in a second. I just also want to point, Pat Mahomes won his first Super Bowl against the San Francisco 49ers in 2019 with a 31-20 score. And it's just funny now, Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant 2 years ago, is going for his first Super Bowl against Pat Mahomes. And man, what would it be if that guy is the one that outplays Playoff Pat? Yeah, I'm nicknaming him Playoff Pat. So if you hear it, you heard it here first, unless you heard it before. Just don't make me look like an idiot and say something right now.
Yeah.
Tell me off screen. Let me have this. But yeah, no, Bubba, we'll get to you on that on this and your thoughts.
Oh, right now? Oh, I thought you were putting me off again.
It's a live show.
Hold on, we'll get to you in a minute.
No, take 2 hours and then when we're
Right?
done, go, please talk.
No, seriously, I've watched maybe one game from each team throughout the entire season. I've been too busy to be able to focus on football like I used to. So both teams, holy shit, they deserve to be where they are. Hands down, no questions. They deserve to be here. They made it. They're good for you guys. But I downloaded the new Madden NFL 24 because it's free right now for me. So to shits and giggles, my buddy from the States and I played San Francisco KC. KC won by a field goal, and this guy over here wasn't wrong. It was a huge scoring game.
Mhm.
Huge. It was stupid how many points were put up. But they only won by a field goal. So I'm going with that today. That's going to be
Okay.
my prediction.
He's going back to back guy.
Yes. And barely back to back. Like, I mean, like I said, they got a super long field goal and it literally just cleared the bar. Okay? Like there was nails being bitten and people were eating their jerseys, and it's going to be a hell of a battle. High scoring, I think you're correct on that one. But like I said,
What
they're
was the
going to pull it
final
off.
again in that game that you played?
Pardon me?
What was the final score in the game that you simulated?
Oh, I got to remember now. I think I had in the 30 mark just about 40 points, and the other guy was, like I said, the field goal below me.
Yeah.
So it
Yes.
was up there.
So we're looking at 80 some points, which then it would mark it as
Give
the
or take.
highest
Yeah.
scoring. 1995, and remember, Josh, in the past we talked about how the playoffs just bring in like narratives like you wouldn't believe. Well, the
Oh,
San
yeah.
Francisco 49ers won the highest scoring Super Bowl against the San Diego Chargers at the time, 1995.
Wow.
And that game had 75 points. 75 points is the benchmark to the highest scoring Super Bowl.
I think we could see in the 90s.
So I was asked yesterday with from someone in the locker room what I thought about the game, and I'm like, I'm gonna go. And this is me with a want pick. This is not my okay. I'm gonna pick San Francisco 49ers go 36-33 win over the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, it ain't the highest scoring. It's a high scoring game, just
Yeah.
not the highest scoring. But man, this is a game where if you're gonna beat playoff Pat and you're gonna make the Cody crybabies turn into the sad Swifties, or you're gonna
Sad Swifties.
yeah, or you're gonna have the
Hashtag.
cheering Travises of the world, and you're gonna defeat the Andy Reid led Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, Andy Reid, who I think right now is the best coach in the game today, as of right now,
No question.
bar none. That guy is going to be the biggest difference maker in this game. Not a player. It's Andy Reid.
Can I say he's also the best commercial actor on the planet? That State Farm commercial he does where he reaches across and says, "Give me them nuggies."
Jesus.
Or when he's talking to the kid that's putting the Chiefs logo in the end zone, and he's like, "It looks great, kid, but who are the chefs?" And he walks away.
Jesus.
It's fantastic. Andy Reid is a genius when it comes to presenting himself in this way. But
do you know how easy it is to bake Kansas City Chiefs cookies?
Oh.
If you had one of those little foils from Christmas, you just take the tree, you just turn it aside, and then you can make the Kansas City Chiefs logo.
You're so smart, Chris.
I saw that on
You're the
Instagram.
smartest.
No, I've known that for a while. But hey man.
But yeah, greatest coach in today's game.
Yeah, and that's going to be a huge difference, and that's not a take from Kansas City or San Francisco. Which, by the way,
No.
thanks for Kubiak, guys. Wow, we're signing him as our offensive coordinator. So thanks, San Fran. Preach. We need help. But yeah, I mean they have all the tools that could beat them. I mean, they got the running back. They got Christian McCaffrey. That guy makes beasts look like weak people. For the sake of a better word. And then you have Brock Purdy, who, as you're saying, he's a very mature 2-year quarterback. He's methodical. He understands how to manage clock. He understands how to throw the ball away instead of taking a hit, taking a loss. He thinks the game well. He has a good head on his shoulders. He doesn't get rattled. And that's something that's very important with this team, not getting rattled, even though both teams have a history of allowing the other team to come back instead of just, taking the game away. We saw it with the Detroit Lions. We saw it with the Green Bay Packers. The San Francisco 49ers, when they want to take the game, they take the game. And they're not rattled by a deficit. They're not rattled by a couple touchdowns. They know when to turn it on. And I think that's very important, especially with a young quarterback like Brock Purdy. And then, yes. But we also have guys like Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, just really good wide receivers. And we have George Kittle, who completely will make you frustrated with fantasy, but he's one of the best tight ends in the game. And I think that's another great story. We have two of the top tight ends going face to face, head to head in today's game with Travis Kelce and George Kittle. So it's going to be a very well distributed football today, I think. But I think if there's anybody that can outdo the Chiefs today, it's the powerhouse and the tools that are the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, but it's going to be
gonna
so
have
difficult.
It is.
Football scandals or anything like that. No, what is it? Flake Gate or whatever they called it. Deflate Gate.
Deflate
None of
Gate.
that
Yeah.
crap.
Hey man, they got more gates that even a mansion would be jealous of over in the New England area. Right. But also, I'm just going to say this: any New England Patriot fans watching this game, if you're cheering against the Chiefs because they are winning too much, you know how the rest of us felt. Okay, so shut up.
Right.
It's your time to be annoyed.
I think all those championships should be disputed and looked into because.
Nah.
No, I'm just kidding.
There's only one. There's only one, and that's when they played the Rams. And if you're going to get me, if you're going to do that, you're doing a very easy job because there's no way the Saints should have lost that game against the Rams. We should have got Breeze and Brady in a Super Bowl. Roger Goodell, screw you. You know that would have sold more tickets than that boring ass Pats Rams Super Bowl that we had. That game sucked. That game was a human vacuum cleaner. It sucked and blew at the same time.
Oh my god, I almost spit my
Yeah, that game was lame. Yeah. No, it's good. This Super Bowl is going to be a good one. I think it's going to be fun. Halftime show.
Got some Usher in the house, huh?
Yeah, it's going to be. You can almost expect Lil Jon's going to be there. I mean,
of course.
You can't have Usher out there without Lil Jon. Yeah.
Oh.
So.
That's all that guy can do. What?
But honestly, my whole fandom for this is I hope this is just a slinging touchdown throwing Super Bowl. I want to see some big plays. I don't want to like you talked about the Patriots Rams. I don't want to see that. Come on,
nobody does.
This is the biggest fucking game. Excuse my language of the year. And it needs to be that. That's what it needs to be because you're boring the piss out of me, NFL, lately. you bore it just right out of me. And I need something. I need a game to be something that is supposed to be the Super Bowl, the super game.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. You want something iconic, memorable, and just dramatic. And I think I think that's why everybody loves the NFL. It's because of the drama, right? That's why guys will just kind of allow girls to watch Desperate Housewives of like Boise, Idaho, because we got Sunday football. Sorry, Boise, Idaho.
You got me with that one. You got me with that one. I'm sorry.
But yeah, it's I don't know. That to me, it's what makes the games fun. It's why we hang on, we cling on to them the next day at work, and we do all that. Dear God, OG, what are you talking about over there?
I think they're trying to get us to break.
Yeah. But I mean, the Saints should have a Choir Boys logo. Yeah, our logo is pretty good. It's a nice little fleur de lis. All right. Maybe you should have a Choir Boys logo. How about that one?
I'd be happy with any logo.
Um, I do have a logo though. It's in the bottom right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's gonna be. I think it's going to be a very intriguing game, and I think the run game is going to be insane. You got Isaiah Pacheco going up against Christian McCaffrey. Isaiah Pacheco is just turning into a beast with the ball. And then Jared McKinnon, he's active for today's game. And then you have Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So there could be a run by committee for Kansas City right now. Christian McCaffrey, he is a committee. He's a one-man committee. He almost won the MVP.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was
good.
Very close.
I mean, he didn't actually. It was pretty much between Lamar and Allen.
So
yeah, but his stats alone, he could have actually. He
was the only
taken
non-quarterback even in the voting. So I think that says something.
Yeah.
So I have a silly question for you guys, because you two at this point are like my NFL pros right now, because I don't know shit about it right at the moment.
Well, clearly, if we're your
What
pros,
team-
you definitely don't know anything.
Just because you're the only two I know that watch football religiously, that's all. Which one of the two is going to be more dominant? Is it going to be the throwing game or the running game for either team? Or are they pretty well even for both teams?
I would say they're pretty even,
Yeah.
simply based because there's no
Okay.
Kansas City doesn't have the monster in Christian McCaffrey, but what they do have is multiple people, and then you have Patrick Mahomes mobile as well. So there is a committee there that could do the same amount of damage. It just takes more than one person, like San Fran.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
But then what San Fran also has, they have the speed of a Deebo Samuel. And if that guy gets going, he is almost impossible to stop. And then on top of that, you have weapons galore with Travis Kelce, who very well, when his career is done, could go down as the greatest tight end of all time. Going up against George Kittle, who's one of the greatest tight ends currently playing. And then you have Brandon Ayuk. You have multiple weapons here that both teams could go. Rashee Rice is breaking out with Kansas City right now. So there's options. And that's why these teams are in the Super Bowl, because they can win in different ways. And they have won in different ways. You have two quarterbacks that know how to manage the clock. They know how to manage the ball. They don't make stupid plays. They're not the Josh Allen when they don't have to. They don't throw 40 yards and have a wide open ball for the other team to catch. No, it's specific throws. And I mean, they throw dimes while guys like Allen throws beach balls. So it's a completely different scenario there.
So they're very diverse teams, then, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, and
they got a lot of
multiple
arsenal
weapons.
Yeah.
It's just what you don't have in San Francisco, you have in Kansas City, and this could play as a factor. This could be a deterrent, but it's the experience. Kansas City's been there before, so they know the pressure.
As San Francisco, it's not like they're going into this game with Mr. Rice and he's the one guy and everyone's basically paying attention to it. You got everybody on that team plays their role, plays it right, and that's how we've been winning, and that's why we got to the Super Bowl. It's not one guy, it's the whole team.
Yeah. I mean, you honestly just have to go back and watch the San Francisco Lions game to get into the Super Bowl. You watch that game and you can see the 49ers honestly show you exactly what gets them to a Super Bowl in just that game.
Yeah. So I heard, I didn't watch the game because I was like, well, whatever, I got other things to do. I heard that Detroit was up basically 17 points on them, and San Fran just annihilated them.
Yeah, they came back, and it was something I called on the podcast. I said that first half is going to look like shit, and it's going to look like Detroit's going to win. I said, but the Niners are going to come out, and they are going to readjust, and it's going to shock the shit out of the Lions.
And it
And
did, obviously.
that's exactly what happened. They had a hard time. They had a hard time maintaining any type of momentum when the other team started gaining momentum, and that's a hard thing to do in the NFL. And right now,
go ahead. Sorry.
oh, I was just going to say, right now you have two of the top teams of this year that were able to do that. Just that is to maintain their composure when behind and realize that they can come back. And they did it multiple times this year. And it was both had impressive seasons. And it's this is why I'm saying that yes, and I can understand some fans saying that this is gonna be more of a rushing type Super Bowl, but I really don't think it is. I think that's what you're expecting. And I think these teams, they both have coordinators and they both have head coaches that understand that this Super Bowl is going to take something extra to put you over the guy that you're staring across the field at. Because there's not a guaranteed walkout on this one.
No, and even my friend was like, he can't even pick who's going to win because these two teams are so evenly like mentally matched. Because like you said, they've been behind and come back and been behind and come back so many times that it's just built into their brains that it doesn't matter how far down we can get it done, and they go out and do it.
But again, Patrick Mahomes is a guy that he can get so far ahead that there is no way you're coming back. It doesn't fucking matter.
And
you have to watch out for that.
Though.
Pat Mahomes is that quarterback that just doesn't make the big mistake. And because he doesn't make that big mistake, it's harder to capitalize when they have the ball because the defenses are like, you can stop him, but you can't make him mess up. And that's something Tom Brady had, especially in the playoffs.
Yes.
How often do you see Tom Brady throw that just saucy ball out there for anyone to catch? You didn't. He threw the ball away instead of like aiming for an interception, instead of taking a 5-10 yard loss. He would take a 2-yard sack because he knew it was smarter. There's a dead play, he would just go down because he knows you got to learn to fight another play. Pat Mahomes is a very similar way. He just has a lot more tools, like the sidearm. He basically is the guy that created that. So
that's
like
crazy,
he's evolved the game as a quarterback. The one thing that's just scary about San Fran is there's no team that has the weaponry you have. So you almost take this accord, like if you were going to fight the United States in battle, you might be the dominant force. Like you could be the China, but you don't take the U.S. lightly just because they have all the weapons as well.
Exactly.
You still might have the scenarios. You might have that experience. You might have everything else, but you don't have everything. Kansas City doesn't have everything. They don't have the best receiving core. They don't have the best running back. But what they do have is the best coach, the best tight end, the best quarterback. And both defenses are in a world of trouble if they allow these guys to run roughshod on them. Because the one thing they need to do is they need to fight and force 3 and outs. I think the team that gets the most 3 and out, the defense that gets more 3 and outs on the other offense, that team is going to win the game.
Oh yeah,
true.
Because
I know when I personally was playing football and my quarterback came into that game confident, not cocky. There's a difference between being cocky and being confident.
Mm-hmm.
And coming into a game this big, confident that we have what we need to beat this team. That I know for me as a linebacker, having my quarterback being, hey guys, we got this. Don't worry, we got this. Just kind of relaxed me enough to focus on what I needed to do, and I got it done. So, these guys telling me about Mahone and the other quarterback sounds like to me, these two gentlemen aren't coming into this game arrogant and their heads puffed up that, hey, we made it here and who cares who's in front of us? We're going to be. No, to me, it sounds like, okay, guys, we got this. We have to work together. If we don't work together, it's going to fall apart. And they're coming into it with that confidence of, okay, I got you, you got me. Cool, let's do this.
And,
You
and
know,
that's
like let's put on the best show we can.
it's why Kansas City has won more Super Bowls than they've lost in this era. They lost the one,
True.
ironically, to Tom Brady, right? So it takes a special quarterback to
Yeah.
to get it done. So it's going to be intriguing. It really
I
is
can't wait to
because
watch it.
it's a true master of the minds here. Mistakes, turnovers, you can't do it. San Fran, what they cannot do, they cannot do what they did against Detroit in this game. They cannot they cannot provide a 17-7 deficit at halftime against the Kansas City Chiefs. That is not the offense to do it to, because a guy like Patrick Mahomes will not go silent in a half.
No.
Not in the Super Bowl. Playoff Pat does not do that. Playoff Pat hurts you. He'll go for the neck. He'll go for the jugular, and he'll rip your heart out.
But don't you have to in this kind of game though?
You 100% you have
You
to.
just gotta give it
But
your.
if
Yeah, go ahead.
but this is like the Great Western, right? That shootout. You got to shoot first. You got to, but you got to make your shot count. It's one thing if you can shoot first. It's another thing to be shooting a bullseye right off the bat, and that's what the San Fran needs to do right now, because you got to expect Kansas City shooting a bullseye every time.
Yeah.
So you got to put that pressure on yourself, and you got to rise above it, because if you don't, the Kansas City Chiefs will walk away with this game if you allow them to.
Oh yeah.
That's like come into this game. I don't know. This is just me personally. My thought. If I was San Fran or Kansas coming into this game, I'd be like, they're better than us. We got to get the first touchdown so that it kind of rattles them a bit, and keep going and keep going and keep going and keep it. Don't relax. Don't let back. Don't let your foot off the pedal. Go 100, 200 mile an hour right off the hop.
Yeah, you're going to see both teams do exactly that. Come right out
Yeah.
and just go, because they're professionals. They all understand the
Oh
moment.
yeah.
Mahomes understands what he needs. He wants a back-to-back. Who wouldn't want a back-to-back Super Bowl?
Right.
I
How many
would.
quarterbacks?
I would love that check. That would be a great check. But he's also been beat like by the best. The GOAT. Brady is the GOAT.
True.
Think what you want of him. He's a GOAT. So for Patrick Mahomes, he has the mindset to take any type of setback and rise above it. And that's what's so scary about him and his whole team, because they feed off that energy. And like you were saying with a quarterback, both of these quarterbacks coming in have the confidence of an entire team. And they're the ones who got these guys to the dance, and you make sure that you leave with the guy who got you to the dance, because right now, Purdy, also being so young in his years, he's got a great mind of being where he's at right now. I mean, just look, what's he, 2 years in, Perish?
Yeah, and I'm gonna make the reference that every wrestling fan says. Everything's wrestling. In order to beat that high-end chief, that tribal chief, the man who's on his second attempt to win his first championship has to dethrone that top-end chief for it. So yeah,
right.
pretty
Be the
ironic.
man,
Man.
you gotta beat the man. Is that the word you're looking for?
Well, it's Cody Rhodes failed last year going.
Yeah.
Right. This is on his second attempt going to WrestleMania against a tribal chief. I'm making that reference.
Yeah.
See
It's
that?
true though. You're
Yeah.
not wrong.
See the professionalism there? He brought it
Yeah.
all around. It's like he gets
Right.
paid for this shit.
Yeah.
Right.
And here's the irony: when Roman Reigns was on, I forget what show it was, but he was talking to Stephen A. Smith, and they asked him to put his two likely Super Bowl contenders on. Number one was the San Fran 49ers. Number two was the Kansas City Chiefs. So yes, even though we might not have to acknowledge the bloodline, you got to acknowledge Roman Reigns' skill of calling
did.
this match months before.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
picked this a long time ago.
Yeah. So
This exact Super Bowl.
Roman Reigns, you are better than the Super Bowl color conspiracy.
Maybe they leak it out through Roman Reigns.
Ooh,
Bum, bum, bum. Well, if you want to find
Uh,
out that, you need to tune into a Window Lickers on Friday, Deep Fried Fridays.
Oh, bam. And I think with that being said, we are at that point of the show now where we talk about what we have coming up, where you can find us. JJ, we'll start with you right now. You're talking about the Window Lickers from Fridays. Tell us the people more about that. Where can the good old people find you?
Yes, you can find me here on my Twitch. You can also find me on X, Twitter, JJ, the Voice 64. Yeah, there it is down there on the ticker. Fridays I do a new show I've started. It's fun conspiracies. It's all entertainment purposes only. They are my opinions alone. So come have some fun. It's called Deep Fried Fridays. It starts at 8 p.m. Also, I do this show on Sundays. You can stop in, have a talk with me and Perish, usually at 12:15, and it's a lot of fun. You can see if you were here, we talk wrestling, and then we also talk sports, football, and we have some things to talk about coming up. So that'll be fun too. Also, you can find me Mondays, 7 p.m., right before the Raw watch along with the Raw Patrol. Uh, it's a Window Lickers Raw recap review with my co-host over here. Oh, it's on this side, Bubba Duke. And we review usually 3 main stories from the previous Raw and 3 main stories coming up on this Raw. So with that, then we rate out to the Raw watch along on Turnbuckle Studios. Yeah.
Yep.
So those are all the
Bubba,
places you can find me.
Bubba Duke, where can the people find you?
I got Linktree. It's linktr.ee/BubbaDuke. I'm currently updating that because, like Turnbuckle Studios, I had to reset my YouTube. So I'm currently working on getting that all set up. You can catch me on Facebook. The group page is The Boar's Nest with Bubba Duke. This fine gentleman over here, I do go with him on, like you said, Monday nights at 7. And then, yeah, we do raid out to the Raw Patrol, where I join them with this beautiful moneymaker. And then other times, I am doing the Boar's Nest on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I urge you to and implore you to click that bell because if you don't, you might miss some early starts for us because we do tend to start early sometimes, depending on how much information we have about movies, TV shows, and new video games that are coming out, plus a little recap on the game that we're playing at the current moment, which is Gears of War 5, which I've never played any of the Gears of War. So come check me out.
Yeah, and they just started that Gears of War 5. So you're not missing anything except the epilogue at the beginning. So
Yeah,
join OMD and him because it's been fun.
Awesome. And you see down there, rogueenergy.com, promo code PERISH, PERISH, 10% off your order. And we had rated that good old people on the Twitch to Chugs, formerly known and currently known in the AEW world as Adam Cole, baby. Because why not? Decided to.
I just looked down there and seen that Adam Cole was on. I'm like, what the hell is he doing there?
But yeah, no, go say hi. Send him Chris or tell him Chris Perish sent you, because that'd be awesome. But yeah, as you can find me on the Mondays on the Raw watch along with the Raw Patrol as I run in, because I am going for gold as I'm striking just to get to that 3-hour benchmark that is known as Monday Night Raw. And then you can find me alongside Joshua Joseph every Sunday at 12:15 p.m. Eastern live on my Twitch, my Facebook, my YouTube, as you'll see that in the video coming in next. With the 11th installment of the Chris Perish podcast, the first Chris Perish podcast where we don't have live football. So yes, we might cry next week. So in the meantime, the good time, just want to say thank you. Enjoy your Sunday. Drink responsibly if you do. And for that, for now, for then, go Saints.